From opening day to October, this is the Showstoppers podcast, where baseball never sleeps. On today's show, we are going to go over our who's trending up, who's trending down, hitters edition, as well as weekend recap. We picked 6 weekend series to recap, our picks to click, our rapid fire, and should the White Sox call up their prospects. Again, all of these segments are 4 minutes each, and my co-host has the timer. We are going to start with our hot and cold hitters. I will start first. Go ahead and start the timer.
Go ahead, buddy. Yeah, you're good.
My 3 hot hitters. Number 1 is a guy we ranked in our prospect rankings. I can't stop thinking about how hot he's been since he got called up. It is Chandler Simpson of the Rays. Listen to these gaudy numbers over the last week. He has no home runs, which he's not really a home run hitter, as we know. 2 RBIs. He's struck out 3 times, walked 3 times. He has 3 stolen bases, hitting .440, a .500 on-base percentage, and a slugging of .440. Next, I've got a guy the Mets probably wish they never traded because of all the issues they're having in the outfield, and that is Pete Crow Armstrong, or as most people know him, PCA. Last 7 games, so the last week, 9 for 27, 2 homers, 9 RBIs, no walks, 5 strikeouts. But that gets canceled out. He's stolen 5 bases, hitting .333 on base percentage, and a .667 slugging. And then my last one is Jesse Winker of the Mets. Their DH. He's 6 for 21, 1 home run, 2 RBIs, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, 1 stolen base, hitting .286 with a .400 on-base percentage and a slugging of .476. Can these guys keep it going? And now, who are your 3 hitters that are on a hot streak right now?
I'm going to start with my guy that I picked last week for Pick to Click, Corbin Carroll. Yes, Corbin Carroll. The 3 games against the Braves, let's see here. He had 3 hits. He is currently hitting .308, on base percentage of .376, slugging at .667 currently.
And I believe he's tied for the lead in home runs in the league.
That is correct. That's correct. He is tied for homers at 9 home runs so far this season for Mr. Carroll. Let me see. Who did I have? Else did I have? Hang on a second. Let me go to my notes here real quick. Right here. Who else did I have? Oh, Fernando Tatis is another guy that we don't talk a lot about. They played the Rays, which they got slipped. He's currently hitting 33. He did have 5 hits in that series, 1 RBI, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. He is on base at .394. His slugging is .700. He has 8 home runs in this season. And the last one I had was Trent Grissom, the outfielder for the Yankees. How much I didn't say that. But he is currently hitting .295. He had 3 hits, 1 RBI, 2 walks, and 1 strikeout in the last 3 games. I believe that those guys right there, I think they will stay hot. Let me just say that.
Can you try going out and coming back in? You're frozen. There we go.
Sure.
You're back. You're back. And now, how did we get that in under 4 minutes?
Actually, we just got it right on the dot. I'm right on the dot, brother. Right on the dot. Yep. Right on the
Okay,
dot.
so now we go to the opposite end of the podium, and we go to the guys, our two guys that are over the last week, just they're freezing cold, and they might need some help getting out of this cold spell they're in. And go ahead and start the timer.
Go ahead.
And the first guy I'm going to talk about, he's actually in the thumbnail, along with Chandler Simpson. It is Shea Langoliers of the A's, which I think in the preseason I said I was really high on him and I expected a breakout year. And so far, then again, I know we're still in April, almost in May. His last 7 games, he's batting 6 for 27, no home runs, 1 RBI, 1 walk, 7 strikeouts, 1 stolen base, batting .222 with an on base of .250 and a slugging of .259. And I think the problem for Langoliers here is and I've been watching some of his tape from the last week. He's chasing pitches outside the zone. And what's that going to lead to if you chase? Leads to strikeouts. And so, Shea, you're one of my favorite players in MLB. If you're watching this, I hope this is a little motivation. Don't chase outside. Take the patient approach, and that'll bring your batting average up, and it will get you out of this slump. And the last guy that I'm going to talk about is a former Met. He's now on the Dodgers, unfortunately. Over the last week, Michael Conforto is hitting. He has no home runs, no RBIs, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts, no stolen bases. He's hitting .087, and his on-base percentage begins with a 1. 187 on-base percentage with an .087 slugging. Yikes. And I haven't gotten around to a lot of his tape, but what I've seen from highlights is he's another one that's kind of fishing outside, reaching outside the zone for pitches. What's the advice? What's the wisdom you could give Mr. Conforto to get out of this slump?
Be more patient. Look for the pitches to hit. Don't swing, because if pitchers know you're going to go up there and swing at everything, then they're going to throw wild pitches at you, thinking you're going to swing at everything. If you're patient and you take that away from them, your batting average will get better.
Who are your 2 people of choice to bring up that may be down right now?
It hurts me to say this, but my first is Mike Trout, a guy that is one of the best baseball players maybe to ever play the game, never seen the playoffs. Currently, he's hitting 115. You heard that correct. 115. His OP on base runs is 207, slugging is 308. In the last few games, has 3 hits, 1 home run, 2 RBIs, 3 walks, 11 strikeouts. So that's where he is located at the moment. The other one that I have.
What would your words of wisdom be to Mike Trout to break out of this slump he's in?
Take a trade, get out of Anaheim. Just gotta. I know he doesn't want to play for anybody but the Angels, but we talked about that sometimes a change of scenery for guys can help them. I think it's just time for Mike to get out of Anaheim. The other guy that I had is actually another Yankee, Jazz Chisholm, who is supposed to be a guy coming over from the Marlins. He is only hitting .238 and only has 1 stolen base, 10 strikeouts, 7 walks, 5 ribbies. His OP is on base which is .433, slugging is .381. He is not supposed to be slugging .381 in the position that he's supposed to be in with the Yankees. So those are my 2 as far as, then pick it up a little bit as far as cold streaks go.
Now we are going to do some rapid fire. And one of the topics we're going to do rapid fire is talk about the White Sox and should they continue to call up prospects and other teams around the league. And we have 4 minutes to talk about it. So go ahead and start that timer. So we're going to start with the White Sox. And we've talked about Colson. How many times have we talked about Colson Montgomery, Hagen Smith, Noah Schultz on the show?
Bunch of times.
Is it time? And I know the White Sox don't have any business going anywhere, but is it time for them to think about calling those guys up? They have nothing to lose.
You took the words right out of my mouth, partner. I think that with the way that organization, the shape that it's in right now, you have nothing to lose but to call these kids up to see what you have in the minors. If you bring these kids up and they excel, what is it? I mean, even if they fail, it doesn't matter. They,
Well, hey, let me chime in for a second. They get it. If one of these guys ends up winning Rookie of the Year, guess what they get? An extra draft pick.
There you go.
Prospect promotion incentive. Which, if y'all don't know what that means, we will briefly explain. It basically means, say the White Sox call up Colson Montgomery, and he finishes top 3 in the Rookie of the Year. The White Sox get an additional draft pick, whether it be in the first round, the second round, whatever round of the draft it's in, they get an additional pick. So the White Sox are the first topic of this rapid fire. The next one is is it time for the Red Sox to call up Roman Anthony?
As a fan, I think he should have made the opening day roster, but that's just me. I'm not a GM.
Hey, didn't I say the same thing about Chandler Simpson?
I think it is time. The Rays have brought up some of their minor league talent, and it's worked out well. I think it's time to bring him up and see what he can do. Why not? Why not? So yes, the
problem is you got a logjam in the outfield. Where would you play him? Because Rafael has been playing below average, above average in center field. Christian Campbell's been playing good.
And then Jared Duran is out there as well.
Yes, in left field. And by the way, I saw he stole home plate the other day.
He stole home, and then I think he got into a little bit of a disagreement with a Guardians fan. So
yes, he did. Which that's another rapid fire topic we could talk about here in a second. But where would you play if you call up Roman Anthony? What does your outfield look like? Duran's obviously in left. Wilyer Abreu has been out of this world to start the season.
Yeah.
So there's no way you take him out of the lineup.
I think he's probably been the best Red Sox of anybody this season so
far.
Would
you consider putting Roman Anthony in center field? Even though Rafael has been...
You can move Rafaela to the infield and have someone sit. Then again, who do you sit? If you sit Trevor Story, I mean, who do you sit in that case? Yeah, I don't know. It's a tough decision. That's why Alex Cora gets paid the big.
You could say the same thing about Marcelo Meyer. Marcelo Meyer's been mashing at AAA as well.
Yeah.
That's the problem. The same problem with the Rays. We have the same problem too. We have guys that are mashing at AAA that are just blocked. Yep. And we keep having injuries. We just had to trade for an outfielder because Jake Mangum, who was breaking to start the season, went on the injured list. Mm-hmm. So they had to trade for Travis Jankowski. which if there's any MLB fans out there that know more about Travis Jankowski, please let me know. I do know he's a journeyman outfielder and he's played for a lot of teams. Let's get into what you were talking about with Duran and a fan. This is the second time that he's had an encounter with a fan. There was an incident last year. I feel like, and how much time do we have left for this?
I had to restart the clock, but we ran out of time, so I've restarted another 4 minutes.
These fans that I understand, there's fans out there that like to heckle the players, but you got to understand these guys outside of baseball, they have families, and you got to be careful what you say. And if you're gonna say something that's, I don't know what the fan exactly said to Duran, but it obviously,
what it is he mentioned, if you guys watch the
yes, I remember now, something about taking his own
suicide.
Yeah. Absolutely disgraceful. You don't. I understand if you want to heckle, but that's going too far.
Yeah.
You absolutely never bring something like that into heckling.
Mental health is not a topic that you really want to get into with certain people, because certain people very,
as I like to say, it's a very touchy, extremely touchy subject and situation. You just never bring up mental health. And like I said, this is the second time something like this has happened to Jarren Duran. It happened to him last year with a fan heckling him. And he ended up getting, I think, suspended or fined.
I think he got fined a bit. I don't think he's going to get fined for this one. I think that the Guardians found out who the fan was, and I'm assuming is going to be blacklisted from any ballpark in MLB from here on out. So, congratulations.
He should be banned from every single ballpark in MLB. Yeah.
Banned,
and if you're going to heckle like that, you should not be allowed in another MLB ballpark. Absolutely not. Because I see videos on Instagram and stuff like that all the time of these fans. Their sole purpose of going to games is to heckle. Which, again, yes, that's fine. But as long as you're not bringing their personal life into it, or what was it a Red Sox fan last year that was heckling him, or whoever they were playing? It was somebody, I think, that the Red Sox were playing.
I think it was an opposing fan.
And he basically said, you need something about a tennis racket.
Yeah. Yep.
That's as far as we could go with that. But just for those of you that do go to, I'm going to say this. For those of you that do go to games to heckle, please be respectful.
I agree.
Please be respectful and take into account these guys outside of baseball have lives. Some of them have families, some of them have a girlfriend. Don't bring family into it. But back on topic now. One of the other rapid fire topics we're going to cover is, and we've talked about this a couple times, how horrible the umpiring has been this year. And how inconsistent the strike zone has been for every umpire. Mm-hmm. And if y'all don't like us ranting about the strike zone, then I hope you can stay tuned into the podcast. But we want to hear y'all's thoughts and opinions in the comments of this episode. But in my opinion, and I saw it over the weekend in the Rays game, there was a couple. I've seen it all over MLB. The umpires behind the plate have been just horrendous. there was a couple games that I think I was watching the Royals and no, I was watching the Rangers and Giants game on Saturday night. In the home plate umpire, there was a pitch that's in the strike zone, on like say this is the strike zone. It was on like the edge of the strike zone, and that's normally a strike. And they called it a ball, and they showed what it would have been with ABS, and it would have been a strike. ABS can't get here faster.
Because I've got an opportunity, and if you guys don't like the strike zones in Major League, go watch a minor league baseball game because it's so much nicer. They have the ABS, like Alec mentioned. They can challenge calls. The hitter, the catcher, and the pitcher can all call it if they feel that it's called a ball and it could be a strike. I have the 3 minor league games I've been to. It's only been overturned like once or twice, so usually it's whatever it's called. That's what it's called. So, but yes, the ABS needs to get to the major leagues, and of course, Manfred has held it up, and it's time for him to. I don't know, but if maybe after this year, if with how bad the umpiring has been, that the owners go, hey, it's time. Go, let's put it in now. This upcoming year, I think they may use. If wrong, they did in spring training. I'm not sure if they do or not, but they might. I don't know. So
they did use it in spring training this year.
Yeah, then
and it seemed to be a rousing success from everything I heard from managers to the players to the umpires, which is surprising. Because you would think the umpires would be like, no, we don't want that to be implemented. But there were some of them that were like, yeah, we want it because then it takes out of our hands us having to call something that's on the edge of the strike zone a strike when it barely missed the strike zone by like a half inch.
Mm-hmm, correct.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, we will have more rapid fire topics in a little bit, but the next 4 minutes is going to be us talking about recapping weekend series, and I have 6 from the American League that I will be recapping once my co-host Bradley gives me the thumbs up to start. First, we have the Rays, and as Bradley mentioned earlier, you know what? The Rays had a nice road trip. They took 2 of 3 in Arizona. Took 2 or 3 in Arizona. And the last 2 of those games were extra innings, which I don't advise staying up for extra inning games when they're on the West Coast. I did it, and I had to go to work the next day. It was not fun waking up. And then, of course, over the weekend, they swept San Diego. And guess who finally got their first win of the season? Zach Littell. And didn't we talk about him last week and how he was just getting he was dealt the tough card?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Anyway, next we got the Red Sox. Oh, no, we got the Guardians. Lost 2 or 3 to the Red Sox, which Bradley's probably happy about that. Then we have the Red Sox.
Only behind the Yankees in the division.
Then we have the Red Sox taking 2 or 3 from the Guardians. The Yankees took 2 or 3 from Toronto. Angels swept by the Twins. Ha ha. And then the Rangers lost 2 or 3 to the Giants. And that ha ha is because I might look stupid. The Twins might not finish in last place. And who are these 6 weekend series you chose from the National League?
All right, I'll start first. I'm going to say the Braves took 2 out of 3 from Arizona. The Phillies took 2 out of 3 from the Cubs. The Reds swept the Rockies. The Dodgers took 2 out of 3 from the Pirates. And the Rockies by the Reds.
You see the smile on my face. I'm a Reds fan too, so Rays and Reds had a good weekend. And next, and this, we don't need a timer for this because this is picks to click. And so, who is your pick to click this week?
Well, you mentioned him earlier. You mentioned him in your, top hitters. Chandler Simpson. I'm gonna take Chandler Simpson.
The on-base machine.
Yes.
My pick to click. I went with I went with one of his teammates last week. I went with Spencer Torkelson, and that didn't really work out for me. But I'm going back to the well again. I'm going with another Tiger. No, it's not Javi Baez, but we'll talk about him in a second because I've been surprised how good he's been playing in the outfield. It is Kerry Carpenter, a.k.a. Kerry Bonds. And those are our picks to click. Now set the timer for, and this, we're going to say 6 minutes because this might take a little longer.
Okay.
What's the changes you've noticed with Javier Baez playing in center field? Yes, that's weird to say, isn't it?
Well, again, we always preach that sometimes change of position or change of scenery is good for a guy, and maybe it was just time for a change for him to, and I think he's gotten to a time in his career where he may have got a kick in the butt. You know what I mean? Maybe he's, that type of thing where he can't use that ego anymore. He's got to start picking up his play, and he's done just that. So
he's hitting 3. I looked at his stats because I was going to pick him for hot hitters. I'm like, he's hitting 301. It's just, to me, and I don't know about you, it's weird seeing him in center field. I'm so used to him at shortstop.
Yep. Maybe he asked AJ Hinch, hey, can I go out to center? Go for it, Javi, and it's working out.
Because they saw what Altuve's doing in left field in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Which, can we ask Yankees fans, are y'all okay? Well, I don't think that. Here's the one trade I think that they didn't do a good job of in the offseason. It was Devin Williams for Nestor Cortez. And I say that not on the Yankees side. I say that on the Yankees side because Devin Williams has. I think it's too early in the season to say this, but I think Devin Williams might be, and this is the strong word to use, Devin Williams might be washed.
Wow. Okay.
Yes, I know that's a bold take. He just got stripped of the closer's role. He's not the closer anymore. Aaron Boone took him out of the closer's role.
Well, if he's been struggling, then got to make a change.
And then guess what he did his first appearance after getting taken out of the closer role? Clean inning.
Yeah. Could have been, but pressure of being a closer. Not, being an eighth.
No, pressure of being a closer in New York, of all places.
because that media will eat you for breakfast.
They will. Yes,
Yep.
they absolutely will. He was a decent enough closer in Milwaukee. I think the reason they got rid of him is the money. I don't think they were going to give him an extension. It was the same thing with Hader, and look what Hader's done in Houston.
Yeah.
That whole Astros bullpen has been phenomenal this year. It's probably one of the top 5 bullpens in MLB. Actually, let's go look at Fangraphs. 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 Now on the show, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to pull up. We're going to share our screen and we're going to look at Fangraphs and look at some stats on Fangraphs and say whether we buy or sell how good these guys have been to start the season. We start with stupid advertisements. There we go. Start with Aaron Judge. 21% K rate, 13.5% walk rate. Can he keep this up, or do you think he needs to lower that strikeout rate?
He's hitting 405. I think he's a type of hitter that will. We all know he's a power hitter. We all know that. If you don't know, you live under a rock if you don't know that he's a power hitter. I think he can keep it up. I think he's going to have to limit the strikeouts, obviously, because I think those strikeouts could come in big games. I mean, we're still in the first, month of the season. Come June, July, and August, July, August, and September, when the games mean a bunch, strikeouts could be cost you baseball.
So you're buying then that he can keep this hot start that he's had to the season?
Yes, he'll make adjustments, but yes.
Now, obviously, you see Carroll and Tatis there, and I would buy their hot starts too.
And I buy.
But look at who's number 4.
I buy that.
PCA. The thing, I buy it too, but the thing I want to see PCA do is be more patient at the plate. Look at that walk rate, 4%. I think that needs to be up around. And would this be absurd to say 9-10%?
No, because he's taking pitches and getting on base.
And then cut that strikeout rate down to maybe 14.5%.
Yeah, that would be fine with me, bud. Yeah.
Now we go down to number 7, Young-Ho Lee. And I've heard a lot of people talk about how he's outdoing his expectations so far early in the season. Look at that walk rate. It's almost up there with his strikeout rate. Can he keep this up?
I'm going to sell this one, bud, because I think he's early on. I think pitchers are going to adjust to him. Now, if he's smart, then he would readjust back. But I think pitchers are going to adjust to him, and I think that's where he won't stay consistent. Maybe the numbers he has now may come back towards the end, but I don't think he can consistently keep up what he's doing.
I'm selling it too. What about Bobby Witt Jr.? Do you buy 15% strikeout rate, 8% walk rate? Do you think he can raise that walk rate?
I think he can. He's another one of those guys. You think you talked earlier, but about PCA with the same thing with being a little bit more patient at the plate. And I mean, Bobby Witt is the heart and soul of the Royals. We all know that. And they're not going to go anywhere without him. If he's struggling, they're going to struggle. So he's got to be better, for himself and for obviously for the Royals. But yeah.
So you would buy it then that he can bring that walk rate up?
Yes. Yes.
Now we go one player below him, Cedric Mullins. And are my eyes seeing this correctly? His walk rate is 9 points less than his strikeout rate. So he's got an 18% walk rate and an 18.9% strikeout rate. Are you seeing that right, or am I?
No, you're reading that correct, my man. You are reading that correctly.
Cedric Mullins, can he keep this up? I'm going to say I sell.
Me too. I think that's one of the problems of why the Orioles are off such a bad start this year, is because of their hitters like this that are not known to have such high strikeouts, but then high walks as well. So, yeah.
And then we go down to Alex Bregman of the Red Sox. 18.2% strikeout rate, 9% walk rate. What does he need? Does he need to lower that walk rate or higher it? Because he's at 18.2% on the strikeouts.
I would say he needs to bring the walk percentage up, bring the strikeouts down, obviously, get on base. I think being his first year in Boston, I think he's adjusting to being with the Red Sox since, for the longest time. With the Astros. So, yeah.
I would agree. Now we're going to go to our last hitter, and then we're going to look up some pitchers. Marcell Ozuna, a.k.a. one of my favorite nicknames in the MLB, the Big Bear. Oh, wow. Okay. I wasn't expecting that from Ozuna. 23.6% walk rate and a 20.9% strikeout rate. Can he keep this up? Buy or sell?
I'm going to say sell because he's a power hitter. Yeah, he's a power hitter. So, yeah, he walks now. But, who knows? He could totally change it around and change his game around and be a get on base guy instead of being a home run hitter. So they don't pay him to be an on base guy, though. I can tell you that.
No, they don't. Okay, so Paul Skeens. You know what? Both of us are gonna strikeout rate of 9.3%. Can he keep that up?
Yes, he has the pitching to do that. Yes, I'll buy that.
The stat I want to look at for him is look at that ground ball rate, 52%. Is that absurd?
No, that means he doesn't have to strike you out. He can get the ground too. So that's how good of a pitcher he is. Yeah.
And then you go to look at Yamamoto, 62% ground ball rate.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, look at who's number 7. It's somebody that I've been hyping up the entire season. Matthew Liberatore. Look at his strikeout rate. Ks per 9. 8.13. Do you think he can keep that up or no?
I'm gonna buy that. I'll buy that.
I will too. Now, 44% ground ball rate. Can he keep that up? Because we know St. Louis is a hitter-friendly ballpark.
Yeah, where they play. Yeah. That's hard in a hitter's ballpark. That's hard in a hitter's ballpark. So, yeah.
I'm gonna say so.
Me too.
We'll get to Crochet in a second. Tyler McGill in the Mets, 11.3% Ks per 9. Do you buy that or are you selling?
I'll buy that because again, he correct me if I'm wrong. Is he a new pitcher for the Mets, or has he been there for a while?
No, he's been there for a while. Last year he was up and down between their AAA team and the big league club. This year he started the year in the rotation because, as we know, Manaya's been out, Montas has been out.
Well, then he's doing what Mets want him to do, filling in that role.
I would buy it too. The ground ball percentage for him is 42%. That just feels too high for me. Because again, isn't where do the Mets play? Citi Field. Isn't Citi Field a hitter's ballpark?
That I'm not sure, but let me look it up real quick. I don't know what Citi Field is considered. Hang on a minute. Let me look that up real quick. No, they say it's considered a pitcher's ballpark.
Okay. I would, you know what? I'm going to buy the ground ball rate then. 40. What did I say? 42%? No.
Correct.
Yeah, 42.9. Yeah, I'll buy that. What about you?
I'll buy it. Absolutely.
We're going to look at a guy that's a Red Sox now. Mr. Garrett Crochet, 10.7 Ks per 9. Can he keep that up?
I think in the way that since he is the ace of the staff, I think he kind of has to. I think in a way, no pressure on him, but I think he has to. I'm buying that.
I buy it too. Crochet ground ball percentage
47%.
47.1. Do you buy that? Because I know Fenway can be a hitter's ballpark.
Yep, because you got the short porch and well, actually, you have the short field and left, even though you have the monster, but the short porch is in right field near the pesky pole. So I would say that would be a hitter's ballpark more than a pitching ballpark. The monster helps, obviously, any pitcher. So.
I'm going to sell that ground ball rate. I don't know about you.
At Fenway, yeah, you could sell it. At Fenway, you can, yeah.
And the last starter we're going to look at, because then we're going to go look at some relievers, is a guy that I be shy to say that I think he's breaking out. He's 4-1 on the year. He pitches for the Astros. 6 games started, 36 and a third innings. 37 innings. Hunter Brown, 9.73 strikeouts per 9. Can he keep that up?
I'll buy that. I think he can.
I think he can too. With him, we're not going to look at the ground ball rate because we know Houston is a hitter's ballpark. We're going to look at his walk rate. 1.7 walks per 9. That's second best.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah.
Second best behind. Let's see. Second best behind. No. So you got first is Matthew. Okay, we're going to switch this up. So We're going to go over these guys' walk rates and say if we buy or sell. Matthew Liberatore, 0.58. Can he keep this up? Buy or sell?
Buy.
I say buy. Nathan Eovaldi, 0.74 walks per nine. Buy or sell?
That's hard because I'm not really sure if the Rangers ballpark is a hit. He has times where he can be good and bad. I'm going to say sell because he has times where he can be good.
I'm going to say hold.
Oh, okay.
Third, Paul Skeens.
Bye.
He does not. He barely walks anybody.
Yep.
Joe. Okay. Joe Ryan, 1.06 walks per nine.
The Twins could be turning a new leaf here. I'm going to say buy. He's got a 10.32 strikeouts per nine. That's not bad either. So, yeah.
No, I'm going to say buy. Oh gosh. Number 5. I do I need to get my eyes checked? Kyle Freeland's number 5 in walk rate? How? He pitches in Colorado.
The hitter's ballpark. That's definitely hitter's ballpark in Coors Field.
I'm selling that all day.
Yep, I'm with you on that one.
I'm dumbfounded. How? Like, that doesn't. Nick Lodolo, okay, that makes a little more sense because they say Cincinnati's a pitcher-friendly ballpark.
Right.
So would you 1.25 walks per nine? I'm buying that he could keep this up.
Yep.
Another Astro. Well, the first Astro on this list. Hayden Wesneski, 1.29 walks per nine. Buy or sell? Can he keep this up?
Let's see. For Houston, I'm gonna say buy.
I am too. He's a younger pitcher. The rest of their pitchers, I'm not going to say are older, but they're getting up there in age other than Hunter Brown. Here's a guy both of us picked for Cy Young. Well, one of us picked for Cy. I think one of us picked for Cy Young. Tarek Skubal of the Tigers, 1.30 walks per nine.
I'll buy that because I think he
too.
can. Yep.
Spencer Schwellenbach, 1.43 walks per nine. And I think Truist is I want to say hitter's ballpark.
Let me see, but I'll look that up just real quick. Let's see. Is it Truist Park?
Yes.
No, actually, they're the pitching ballpark.
Okay, I'm buying that walk rate then. 1.43.
Let me rephrase it. I mentioned that wrong. It's generally considered a balanced ballpark, so it's not friendly to hitters or pitchers. So it's in the middle, is what they call it. So it can either.
Okay, so what would you do with that walk rate then of Schwellenbach? Are you buying or selling or hold?
I would say hold because the ballpark is in the middle. It's not favoring one position to another.
I'm also going to hold Hunter Green of the Reds, 1.47 walks per nine with a 10.5 K per nine.
Buy.
I'm going to say buy the strikeout rate. The walk rate, I watched his first couple starts. They were good. He does get into the habit sometimes of being too pinpoint with trying to find the strike zone, and he ends up walking batters. But I'm also going to buy that. Here's the guy I said that was going to break out this year, Brandon Pfaadt. He's got a 1.51 walks per 9. Would you buy that? Because I believe they consider the Diamondbacks field a hitter-friendly ballpark.
See here. Yes, Chase Field is known as the hitter's ball. That is correct.
I'm going to sell.
So, okay.
Oh, we've gone through this once in this list. How are you going to tell me that another Rockies pitcher's on here? You know what I'm fixing to say. Sell.
Yeah.
There is zero chance I am taking a Rockies pitcher and buying that his walk rate is going to stay the way it is.
Yeah, the ballpark is very hitter friendly. The ball travels fast out of that ballpark. So, yeah.
Yes, it does. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go look at a couple of... We looked at starters. See if I can find pitching reliever. Let's see. So let's look at some relievers. And the first one we're going to start with is Ryan Zephyr John of the Angels. 18.5% strikeout rate and a walk rate of 3%. Can he keep that up?
That's a lot. I mean, that means he's averaging 18 strikeouts per 9 innings. That's a lot. I'm going to say sell. That's a lot. Keep to hold up all year round.
I'm selling too. Now, we've got Mason Miller. 18 strikeouts per 9 and 1.6 walks per 9. I'm buying the strikeout rate for Mason Miller. He's got some of those filthy. He's got a filthy pitch repertoire. Fastball that's 100 miles an hour, and a slider that just. And ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't watched Mason Miller highlights, I highly recommend it. We cannot show it because we will get copyrighted, but he makes these major league hitters look like high schoolers.
And the A's team and a half back in the division right now too, so they're doing very well.
And Bradley can back me up on that. Mason Miller makes these MLB hitters look ridiculous.
Correct.
So we're both buying that. Kirby Yates of the Dodgers, 15.8 strikeout rate. That walk rate's pretty high, 3.29. I'm going to say sell.
Yep, I'm right there with you, bud.
The Dodgers just have the problem with the Dodgers is they have too many arms in that bullpen. Not everybody's going to pitch more than 15, 20 games this year.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we get to another guy that's filthy. The Twins, Griffin Jacks. 15.55 strikeouts per 9 and 2.45 walks per 9. Which one are you buying more, the strikeout rate or the walk rate?
I'd say the strikeout rate. As a reliever, absolutely.
I'm buying the strikeout rate too. Now, number 5, my personal favorite walkout entrance for a closer, Edwin Diaz, 15 right on the nose for his strikeout percentage. But oh boy, That's an ugly walk rate, 5.2.
Mm-hmm.
What are you buying more, his strikeout rate or buying that he can bring that walk rate down to a more respectable walk rate?
I would say buy the walks coming down as a reliever. You can't walk. You can't have almost 6 walks per 9 innings. That's not going to work. You're walking too many guys. Too many guys.
I agree. I would buy the walk rate coming down to. Next, we're gonna go to a guy on the Red Sox, Aroldis Chapman, 13.9 strikeouts per 9 innings, and a 3.4 walk rate. Which one are you buying? Are you buying his strikeout rate that he can keep it up, or are you buying that walk rate's going to come down?
I'd buy both. I think with the way that he still has the speed, and I think the walks will come down. But again, because of how fast he throws the ball, he tends to walk a lot of guys. So, yeah.
I'm buying same thing with me. I'm buying both. We're gonna go to. I really don't want to talk about Yoki Matsui, but I guess we're gonna have to. 13.4 strikeout, 13.9 strikeout rate, and he's walking 2.92 batters per 9. Do you buy that he can keep this hot start up as a reliever, or do you think he's going to fall back down to earth?
I'm going to sell because Petco's, yeah, I'm going to sell.
13.96. I said 13.94. That's my fault. I sell too. And let's go further down the list. Yeah, we're not touching that. Jake Bird of Colorado. Wait. Just to mess with Rockies fans, are we buying or selling his walk rate being lower than 5%?
He's got to get lower. I would buy that. It's got to get lower.
Lower. You know what? Scott blew it. He's been on 3 different teams. 12% strikeout rate. And look at that walk rate. 0.87. Excuse me?
I'll buy that. I'll buy it.
Oh, I will too. Absolutely. That's ridiculous. That means he's walking a batter every 4 at-bats. Now, there's another one I want to look at. Randy Rodriguez of the Giants. Are your eyes seeing the same thing I am? 12.3 strikeouts per 9 and a walk rate of 0.
I'm seeing that, bud.
That's ridiculous.
I don't think he can keep that walk rate to 0. I don't see how that would be that. I mean, if he does, congratulations, but that's easier said than done.
I don't buy it either. Here's a guy in the Astros bullpen that has been, as we can say right now, ridiculous. Can he keep it up? Oh, no, he hasn't been ridiculous. Brian Abreu. Yes, the strikeout rate's up there, 12.5%, but he's walking 5.2 hitters per 9 innings.
Yeah, no, that's not good.
Yikes.
Not good.
Now we get to a guy that used to be a starter for the Phillies, and now he's the closer in Toronto, Jeff Hoffman. 12.83 strikeouts per night. And look at that walk rate. He's not walking anybody. Can he keep that up?
I think he can. I mean, as a closer, that's what your responsibility is. to keep people off the base pass, I think he can.
I think he can too. Garrett Clevenger of the Rays. One of the few, actually, that Rays bullpen has been fantastic. But his strikeout rate, 13.5, walk rate of 1.69. So if you were running that out, Bradley, how many walks does he give up per 9 innings?
Around two.
That's
good. That's not bad at all. That's not bad at all.
That's absurd.
Yeah.
You could say. And same thing with Mark Leiter Jr., the Yankees. One of the few Yankee relievers that's actually having a good start to the season. Yeah, would you say 2.92 walks per 9 is having a good start to the season?
I would say, too, again, you're around 3. I think the good number would be 3 and under, I think would be, right in that good path.
Just for the heck of it, let's see. Who's leading the... So, Okert's leading the league right now in walk rate, along with Tanner Scott, Max Krennic. Okay, we're gonna go in a groups of 4. Buy or sell. So we start with Okert, Scott, Rodriguez, Krennic. Do you buy or sell their walk rate? And it can stay the way it is.
If it stays that way, I buy all 4.
Next 4. Junis Hoffman, Manuel Rodriguez, and Brandon Izzard. White Sox fans, I'm sorry if I botched that. Please correct me if I was wrong. But do you buy all that next group of 4? Do you buy that their walk rate can stay where it is the entire season?
Yes.
Now we get to the third group of 4. We've got Donnie Colomb of the Twins, Scott Blewett with 3 different teams, Lucas Ursig, and Casey Lawrence of the Mariners. Do you buy their walk rate staying where it is?
I do.
And the last group of 4, Tim Meza, Yennier Cano, Emilio Pagan, who's now the closer in Cincinnati, and the first Rogers brother, Tyler. Do you buy their walk rates?
They're still under that too. Yeah, I would say yes.
Okay. And where is the thing? Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have more rapid fire for you. Let's see here. Let me just figure this out. Do we think... So I've noticed the Rays schedule the next week and a half is weird. So they're home for 3 games starting tonight against Kansas City. Then they go back on the road and play the Yankees. Then they come back home and play the Phillies and the Brewers. Doesn't that seem like a little weird scheduling?
It does. I mean, they're one of those, unique teams with a lot of home games in the beginning of the season because of the weather and then playing outside in Florida. That is weird how they have 3 at home and they're on the road and then they're back. That is weird.
How do you think this next stretch of games is going to go for the Rays? Like I said, 3 against Kansas City. Do you think they can sweep Kansas City?
I think, but they take at least 2 out of 3, or they will sweep. Yeah, that's. I mean, I would.
Do you see them sweeping the Yankees in New York?
Well, the Yankees came here and took what 2 out of 3 out of
3 out of 4. And I had to hear it from a Yankees fan. The bar I go to, one of the bartenders is a diehard Yankees fan.
Sorry.
And the whole time I was sitting at the bar, he was giving me crap. He's like, I like the Rays are going to lose. The Rays are going to lose. I'm like, I'm not as worried about them losing right now. It's early in the season. I'm like, I'd be more worried about them losing if it was in July or August.
To be optimistic, but I'd say at least 2
I
out
think
of
it's
3.
a 3-game set, maybe.
I would say hopefully 2 out of 3, but maybe just 1 out of 3. It depends on who's pitching for both teams. Obviously, that's going to be the main thing. If the Rays can score runs like they did over the weekend against Arizona and against San Diego, they should have no problems. But if they aren't able to score runs, I think that's going to hurt them because the Yankees can. Yankees can score runs. So.
And then they come home and play the Phillies and Brewers. Do you think they take any? How optimistic would you be with that?
I think
Phillies, they might get swept. They might get swept by Philly. Milwaukee, I think we could take 2 out of 3.
Gonna say the exact same thing, but I would say at least 2 out of 3 against.
The thing with Milwaukee is they are hurting for starting pitching. I mean, they just got Tobias Myers back, but they still got 3 or 4 other guys on the injured list. Mm-hmm. And then apparently Joey Ortiz has forgotten how to hit. Their own William Contreras is, and I know we're going to get grief for this, but in my opinion, my personal opinion, William Contreras is one of the best young catchers in baseball.
I agree.
And dare I say, he's better than his brother. Yes, I know Cardinals fans are probably going to come at me and say, you're crazy. Just like Mets fans say to me when I say Ellie's better than half of Phillies fans. I say Ellie De La Cruz is better than half of the players on the Phillies. And I'm like, oh no, you're delusional. You're crazy. Ellie's overrated. Ellie's not overrated.
Nope.
Right now, and we're doing this on the fly. Give me your top 5 best players in MLB right now that are under the age of 30.
Under the age of 30?
Yeah. Your list.
Ellie De La Cruz has got to be 1 for me.
Bobby Witt.
Bobby Witt's another one. Is Aaron Judge under the age of 30?
Yes.
Is he? He's got to be on that list. Stanton. Not Stanton. No, because he's not under 30. Juan Soto. That's who I meant to say. I meant to say Juan Soto.
So that, I think you just named 5. Put them in order. 5. Yeah, 5 to 1.
Soto at 5, Judge at 4, Witt at 3. Who else did I say?
Corbin Carroll.
Corbin Carroll at 2, and then I'm going to put Ellie at 1.
Okay, so my 5. I've got, and a couple of these guys have not made their major league debuts yet. Number 5 is Jack Caglione from the Royals.
Go Gators. Go Gators.
And yes, I understand he has not been promoted yet from AA, from the minors. He will be called up soon enough. The Royals are not going to have a choice soon enough. They're going to have to call him up. So that's number 5. Number 4 is James Wood of the Nationals. 3 is Junior Caminero. Yes, I know it's a homer pick. Junior Caminero with the Rays. 2 Ellie De La Cruz. 1 Bobby Witt Jr. And my co-host has a special announcement about what I will be doing for the NGSE Sports website.
So yeah, I was gonna talk to I already know what he's gonna do. Alec is going to be part of our website as a writer. He's already a podcaster because this show goes on the website, and I was gonna ask Alec, and now that we're on the air, and I can ask him, what would you like to write, Bud? Because that's what my partner wanted me to ask you this evening. Is what would you want to write about? Do you want to write? I mean, obviously you're a Buckeye fan, so we would love for you to cover Ohio State when the college football season rolls around, because the more college teams we get on the site, the better, the more eyes you get on it. So if you want to write about Ohio, I'm not saying you have to, but I know you're a big Buckeye fan.
I can do that. I could also do UNF since I went there.
That would be great. He had talked about that. And I think as of right now, me and you are going to the UNF UCF game or USF game 2 weeks from today. Or is it a week from? No, 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks from
2 weeks
today,
from today.
Be going to the game together. So I want, if we can make it work, we might be able to get a table or something set up to where we can do a play-by-play for our respective teams. Alec for UNF and me for USF. We could do something like that, or we can just do a recap after the game is over, or a preview and then a
no. We could try to do that.
Okay.
It would just be because I have a couple extra microphones. And we could talk about this more after the show, which, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to wrap it up for tonight. We will see everybody back here on Thursday. And also remember to go give Bradley a subscribe on his channel, The Walker Report, which I will be on Thursday night at 8 o'clock. And also remember to subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, leave your comments about anything to do with in the world of baseball. We will see everybody back here on Thursday night.
Good, everybody.